In just hours, a highly anticipated meeting that could bring high drama to the White House. We may only hear about it, but never see it. President Trump will host New York City Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani at the White House this afternoon. And this morning, we're learning about Mamdani's preparation for this high-stakes meeting by calling on some high-profile Democrats like Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer for advice on how to best communicate with President Trump. The president has been repeatedly insulting Mamdani, threatening to withhold federal funds from New York and referring to him as a communist over and over again, which he is not. Still, Mamdani has said he wants to talk to the president and focus on ways that he can help New Yorkers. CNN's Gloria Pazmino has been following Mamdani's trail for the longest. What are you learning this morning about this meeting?
Look, this is high stakes. This is a really big moment for the mayor-elect, but frankly, also for the president. We have seen in the last few days that President Donald Trump has been speaking about affordability. He has talked about how Democrats use this word and reference to groceries in order to win the last bunch of elections that we saw just a couple of weeks ago. But of course, as we know, affordability and groceries and the cost of living is something that is on the minds of so many Americans and was certainly on the minds of many of the New Yorkers who voted for Zohran Mamdani just a few days ago and elected him to be the next mayor. So we're going to see a very interesting back and forth. Hopefully, for now, we're told that this meeting is behind closed doors. But Sarah, you know things at the White House can be a bit unpredictable. And the question here is whether or not Donald Trump might open up those doors and allow the cameras to come in. And what happens then will be even more interesting, because we've seen how some of these public meetings play out before, where he meets with whether it's state leaders or leaders from other countries. Sometimes he tries to embarrass them. We saw Vladimir Zelensky get berated for not wearing a suit to the White House. So it could really go off the rails. And Mamdani knows that he has to kind of be on his feet. So he got some advice on how to do that from Senator Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, Governor Kathy Hochul. All of them have had conversations and have a relationship, even if a tense one at times, with President Trump. We know that Mamdani is on his way. He tweeted just a short while ago a selfie from what it looks like the inside of an airplane. There you see him. He says it was just the airplane emoji. So he is on his way to D.C. But, you know, considering what we know about how these two men have spoken about one another in the last few months, I think there's a lot of people who are going to be closely watching to see how it goes. Take a listen to just how Trump and Mamdani have been talking about each other in recent weeks.
It's going to be hard for me as the president to give a lot of money to New York, because if you have a communist running New York, all you're doing is wasting the money you're sending there.
I have many disagreements with the president, and I believe that we should be relentless and pursue all avenues and all meetings that could make our city affordable for every single New Yorker. I intend to make it clear to President Trump that I will work with him on any agenda that benefits New Yorkers. If an agenda hurts New Yorkers, I will also be the first to say so.
Now, Sarah, as diametrically opposed as these two men are, I also think that they actually have something in common, and that is they both have figured out a very effective way to communicate with their supporters. These two are from New York. They're both from Queens. I think President Trump sees something in Mamdani that perhaps I would venture to say he admires, you know, the way that he has used social media to really reach out to his supporters. And, you know, his focus on affordability and really what is a populist message that he himself used to get so many of his supporters.
Right.
Let me tell you what my assessment of this whole thing is. My assessment is such, all right? I think that Trump is caught between a tale of two things. The first thing that I think that Trump is caught between is his love for New York. Trump actually loves New York. He's from New York. He's built buildings in New York. He actually got his bones, a lot of what he's done in New York. Let me see something. I want to know where Mamdani is. Mamdani is from Uganda. All right. He's not from New York. But he ran and allegedly he was raised in New York. Trump is from New York. Mamdani is from Uganda. All right. But Trump, the thing about Trump is that Trump, unfortunately and fortunately, is a president of all people, regardless of whether they voted for him or not, right? So Trump, in a lot of ways, is kind of stuck in this, like between two rocks. The first thing is he can't really support a communist / admitted socialist. But at the same time, it's like, how far do you let the city fail? Because every city in every state in the United States of America gets resources from the federal government. They get resources from the federal government. So it's difficult to gauge how this is going to play out, because one thing we know about Trump is Trump loves to win, but at what cost, right? Trump wants the United States of America to win, but then at what cost? Does that come at the cost of actually benefiting New Yorkers by helping this dude push forward agenda that's not good for New Yorkers, but trying to kind of balance the two to where it's a soft landing? Because Trump wants him to fail, I would assume, but he doesn't want New York to fail. But at the same time, New York is the mayor. You know, he is the mayor of New York. He is the mayor of New York. So it's crazy to think about. And it is customary for the mayor of New York. A lot of people asking, because he over there asking for money. He said they need $3 to $4 million to transition. So he's begging for people to continue to donate to his campaign. And he says they need $3 to $4 million to transition into being the mayor of New York. Politics has become so evil, so profit driven. It's so crazy to think that a public servant can get rich after becoming the mayor, the governor, congressperson. It's crazy. He acting like he already the mayor. He's acting like he's already the mayor. I could tell you this. I don't plan on ever going to New York again. I don't personally plan on ever going because if Trump helps New York and it gets incrementally better while Mamdani is in office in the eyes of the voters, then it actually makes it seem like he won over Trump. He got one up on him. Now, I'm almost thinking that Trump is allowing for him to come to the White House so that he can embarrass him.
The affordability issue is the economy. It's just another word for it, and that's how Donald Trump got into office himself. This is going to be an interesting meeting, and what we are all waiting for to see if it is actually going to be made public. We will see. Gloria Pazmino, thank you so much for your great reporting. John.
All right, with us now, Republican strategist Neil Chatterjee and Executive Committee Chair of the New York State Democratic Committee, Christine Quinn, a New York City person through and through. And Christine, let me ask this to you. I know it's the wrong neighborhood. They're both from Queens. But if this were like a West Side Story thing, what happens when the Sharks and the Jets both show up to the Oval Office? What's going to happen today?
Well, I think the ending's going to be very different than it was in the play or the movie. You know, look, the mayor-elect is doing what is customary, going to see the president, the mayor-elect of the biggest city in the country, and he's going to take his affordability agenda to the president, and hopefully they will be able to find some common ground, because the mayor-elect has said over and over, he'll work with anybody who is committed to making the lives of New Yorkers better and more affordable.
Do you feel, Neil, that is where the incentive structure is here from a political standpoint? Do both of these men have an incentive to behave and make this a constructive discussion, or are they perhaps incentivized to make it a show?
Yeah, look, this is all going to be theater, and maybe not the Sharks and the Jets. My daughter is starring in The Outsiders later today. It's the Socs versus the Greasers. This is going to be pure theater. It is good politics for both of them. For the president, he wants to elevate Mandani. He wants him to be the face of the National Democrat Party. He wants Republicans to run against Mandani in the midterms. And this is a way of platforming him, giving him a big stage, putting him on the stage, making him that figure. For the mayor-elect, this is an opportunity to demonstrate fight. That's what the Democrat base wants right now. They want someone who's willing to go toe-to-toe and fight with President Trump. I do think this will be largely theatric. I do think, as was previously mentioned, these guys kind of, have similar approaches, though different ideologies. And I think this is great for both of them, to be totally honest, politically.
I don't really understand why y'all saying it's great for Trump, because Trump can no longer run for office after, he ends this 4-year term. So I don't really know why they keep saying that it's going to be great for Trump politically. I think that it is great for Mamdani to get visibility by associating himself and meeting with Trump. I don't like his fake smile. I do think that Trump is probably going to be playing chess. I think the goal for Trump is to make him look bad. Somehow, some way to make him look bad. And I don't know if it's to make sure that he looks bad in this particular meeting, or if it's to play nice, to make it seem like, yep, he's amicable, while at the same time waiting for him to fail over in New York City. But I think that Trump has some of the best advisors and some of the greatest people around him. I think that Trump has some of the best advisors and the greatest people around him. So I do see this probably working out for the best for Trump. If there is a live stream and if reporters are allowed to come in there, I can't wait. I will be going live almost immediately. But I don't see how this actually benefits Trump politically.
Right. If Neil is right, Christine, this is the outsiders. Will Mamdani stay gold, Pony Boy? If President Trump does go after him as a constituent here in New York City, do you want him to rise to the occasion? Do you want to see him? Is it more important that he goes toe-to-toe with the president, or is it more important that he charms him and gets what he wants from him?
Well, I think we can all agree his campaign was both Tony Award winning and Academy Award winning. But that said, keeping this theme going, look, I think the mayor-elect is incredibly focused on getting every level of government and every level of society committed to making the biggest city in the country more affordable for everyone. So no matter what your job is, you can have a full, dignified life, a life where your children can do better than you. I think he is going there, with an open heart and open mind to see where they can come together. I don't believe, knowing the mayor-elect, that this is really about theater. It's about trying to get a goal accomplished. We're out of the campaign.
Bro, this is 100% theater. 1000% theater. There is nothing, and when I say nothing that you can talk about in person as a mayor and the president that you couldn't talk about on a phone call. There is nothing, let me say this again for the people in the back, nothing that you can't talk about in person that you shouldn't be able to talk about on a phone call. So if you're saying that you need this in-person meeting in order to try to gain leverage for the people of New York to make the city more affordable, I call BS. I call BS. Most in-person meetings politically now is a formality. It's 100% a formality. It's not something that you need to do. You can literally get stuff done in a phone call. So when they say that he's traveling to the White House, he's going there so that it can be political theater. I don't think that there's anything that there's going to talk about behind closed doors or in person that they wouldn't be able to talk about on the phone at all. I think it's going to be a shit show. Politics is partly WWE, and I think that it's going to be an embarrassment, 100%. Jude says Mamdani asked for the meeting, not Trump, by the way. Well, it's customary. Everybody that becomes the mayor of New York City, which again is the largest city in the largest major city in the United States of America by population, They all go and meet with the president. Now, what happens after you meet with the president is a completely different conversation. And we learned that from Eric Adams. Once Eric Adams stopped playing ball, they didn't even invite him to the Democratic National Convention. Once Eric Adams stopped playing ball with the illegal migrants and all of that stuff, they didn't even invite him to the Democratic National Convention. And he was the mayor of the biggest city in the United States of America.
We're into governing.
Mm-hmm. So what's interesting is that Zohran Mamdani has been talking about affordability since he launched his campaign, and he's been doing it in a way that connected with voters. Neil, President Trump has been using the word affordability for like a week and doesn't seem to like it. You can see him almost say, they call it affordability. He puts it almost in air quotes there. And it seemed to be something the administration is having a challenge discussing. Listen to what J.D. Vance, the vice president, says about this.
Even though we've made incredible progress, we understand that there's a lot more work to do. And the thing that I'd ask for the American people is a little bit of patience. This economy was not harmed in 10 months.
So now, Neil, they're saying people have to wait a little bit. While they were running the campaign, it was the type of thing like day one, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. Now they're going to have to wait. But to what extent do you think that the White House is struggling, not with the economy, but with the messaging on the economy?
Yeah, look, they're making missteps, to be totally candid. My background's in energy and electricity. Electricity prices were a huge issue in the November elections in Virginia, in New Jersey. Electricity prices are through the roof. And inexplicably, the administration has been taking steps to create obstacles to the deployment of clean energy, of solar and battery storage and wind, at a time when demand is through the roof and we need every available electron. I think they have time to get it right, but they need to make some shifts on policy. Don't constrain clean energy at a moment in time when we need it. If you want to bring down electricity prices, let's unleash all of the above energy, which is what the president talked about on the campaign trail. They haven't governed in that way. I'm hoping they will.
He's wrong. He's 100% wrong. The president on the campaign trail talked about unleashing energy by allowing for us to drill, by removing restrictions, and allowing for companies to faster come to the market to do what they need to do in order to create more energy for the United States of America and for us to become energy independent. One of the things that he said on the campaign trail, I don't know if this guy is actually paying attention, but one of the things that he said on the campaign trail was he didn't want to subsidize all of this wind, solar, electric. He didn't want to do that because we were spending a bunch of money and it basically became a money laundering operation because they were not getting the energy efficiency, nor were they getting the results from all of these wind farms and solar and all of this other stuff. Yes, it was about cutting the red tape and unleashing energy. It was not about solar and all of this other stuff. So what they were doing was they were leveraging government subsidies and they were getting contracts from the government to do all of this solar and wind and all of this alternative energy, but it was not resulting in us actually benefiting here in the United States of America. So that is what they were speaking about on the campaign trail. It was leveraging all of the different resources, coal, clean coal, natural gas, all of those things, and nuclear, in order to get more energy and for us to be less energy reliant on other places. Instead, we were going towards this path of infrastructure of all of these alternative sources that also was not necessarily benefiting us. And so that is what they were speaking about on the campaign trail. But it should be an interesting conversation.